Today on As History Turns, we'll be solving the U.S.-China trade deficit, a problem identified by President Donald Trump as a major crisis in America. But first, some background. Through the 1700s, China was the center of the world economically as Europeans and Americans sent fleets to bring back Chinese goods. Billions of silver bullion from the West flowed east to China. A huge trade deficit existed because the Chinese were not tempted by cheap European and American goods. This trade imbalance was deemed unsustainable, so Britain, who controlled the opium trade, offered to sell China opium. The Chinese were not big opium users and had banned the sale, as had Britain. To guide the Chinese through this thought process, the West sent gunboats. The Opium Wars of 1839 and 1857 crushed Chinese resistance, forcing them to buy opium and trade with Britain, France, Russia, and the United States as favored trade nations, or most favored nations. Chinese opium abuse skyrocketed, as did Western profits. The trade deficit vanished in a puff of smoke. Now, fast forward 200 years. We still like Chinese stuff in the West, and each year they become better at making that stuff that we like. Everything from cheap plastics to complex electronics roll out of Chinese factories in exchange for US dollars. Today, the US has a $45.3 billion trade deficit with China. That's to say, as in the 18th century, we like their stuff better than they like ours. We can't force China to buy opium because we don't grow poppies. What about legal pharmaceuticals? Well, it turns out China makes most of the prescription drugs. The Chinese supply more than 90% of U.S. antibiotics, vitamin C, ibuprofen, and hydrocortisone, as well as 70% of acetaminophen and 45% of the blood thinner heparin. Experts warn that because of the coronavirus, many of our pharmaceuticals may become unavailable. The trade war could cause a similar crisis in drug availability. So what else can we do to balance the trade deficit? While the U.S. sells China a few finished products, such as transportation equipment and electronics, these are things the Chinese are capable of manufacturing on their own. They're only buying these to kind of make us happy a little bit. The only thing that we sell them that they can't produce is our soybeans and our trash. The U.S. shipped 175,000 shipping containers of plastic waste in 2019. But the stubborn Chinese are now resisting importing our garbage. So, here we have it. The solution to the trade deficit is easy. We obviously need to send gunboats to China to force them to buy $45 billion worth of our garbage. Presto! Trade deficit solved. No more trade deficit. The U.S. Navy needs a few good men, and we can just keep producing trash. And there you have it. As history turns, solved another problem.
Johnny, get your gun.
Thank you and
get
good
your
night.
Gun, get your gun. Take it on the run, on the run, on the run. Hear them calling you and me, every son of liberty. Hurry right away, no delay, go today. Make your daddy glad to have had such a lad. Tell your sweetheart not to pine, to be proud of